Hello guys, and today we have here another awesome video. We have here a discussion video on this previous format and why I think it is one of the best formats that we have seen in a while. Not because of any particular deck, but because of back row. I feel back row has created this sense of very skillful playing that hasn't been seen, and we see this argument come up all the time during ban lists, specifically by the heavy storm advocates that we see over here, saying that setting for back row isn't skillful at all. They're saying, no, don't set that vanities and those fire lakes and that torrential. That isn't skillful. And I'm arguing that it has been skillful. It has been skillful because, for one thing, with heavy storm, like I don't want to play in a format where, let's say, oh, I forgot a trap card. I forgot a good trap card. I don't want to be in this position where, let's say, I have vanities and mirror force, and because I'm afraid of heavy storm, I set the vanities thinking that I'm going to just stop my opponent's special summon. They get over the vanities somehow, and then they just do a whole bunch of damage, and they OTK me, or they just do so much damage that, like, I'm gonna lose the game most likely. And having mirror force in hand, being like, I could have just wiped their field pretty much. So I don't feel heavy storm will make this format any more skillful. It is skillful enough, specifically when it comes to fighting against back row. So here we have a whole bunch of stun based back row, and here we have a couple of ways to answer back row. There is a couple of cards that are in here and are in here, and so just a variety of stuff. And in this format there has been certain cards that are particular to certain groups, certain floodgates. Like, for example, Vanities is really powerful in Yosenjus. You can see it in all the decks. You see Vanities in pretty much every deck, but it's really powerful in Yosenjus because of how well they can play against it. Yosenjus also have their secret move. Cliffords have skill drain. There's a variety of decks that play mistakes. Some Yosenjus play mistake. Fire Lake is in Burning Abyss. Oh, I forgot this. I'm forgetting all the cards today, guys. All the cards. Mind Crush. And so there's just a variety of back row. Macro for the Spirit Beasts. Torrential has been seeing a lot of play lately, just because it's just so good. And so there's a whole bunch of back row, and it's really, how do you fight through this back row? How do you get rid of it? Obviously, there is the answers such as the MST, and then there is the sided Dust Tornado that a lot of people are setting for the lovely Cliffords. But besides that, there isn't any really good way. It's just managing your resources, and yeah, it's just pretty much managing your resources. That's like the main way. Like, as a Yosenju player, what I'll do if I'm afraid of a torrential or mirror force, let's say I have like 3 Yosenjus, I'll only summon 2 of them and then attack. Or if it gets mirror force or torrential, I still have that 1 Yosenju in hand, so if I draw into another one, or if I can get a tanky, or somehow I can get another Yosenju, I can then play again. I can then go off, because overextending in Yosenjus can be a really bad thing. And that can also happen against, like, in Necros, where you summon, like, you jin your opponent, but then they, like, I'm not sure, they have some card that can just get over, whether it be a reject key or some other card, and you don't have the gun ear right away. And so there's just a variety of different ways to get over stuff. And like Cliffords, they have that skill drain, and so a lot of people have stopped citing in Spell Shattering Arrow for the Fairy Wind, because Fairy Wind solves both the Scout and the skill drain, which is a really painful thing. Oh, I forgot another card. I'm forgetting all the cards today, guys. Wow, I'm not failing. War Decree is a card that a couple of Yosenju players have been running. I've seen a couple of players run that. Besides that, there's Trapsun. I feel Trapsun. It's very skillful. That's like, Trapsun's that type of card where it will work really well when you're testing the waters. Your opponent has 4 back row. Again, you summon 2 commas and then attack. And if they go away, oh well. But then you have that Trapsun, so that way, if they have anything else next turn, you can then activate that Trapsun and make sure that your play goes through. And even for Yosenjus, like, if you're running the defensive stun build, Secret Move, like, I love Secret Move, because if I can't activate it during my opponent's turn as a stun card, I can activate it as a protection card. Like, if I have that with Secret Move, my play's going through. Like, it's just 9 times out of 10 my play's going to go through, unless you have both torrential and mirror force, or unless you have solemn. If you have solemn, I cannot respond with secret move unless I already control another Yosendju card. And so secret move is just that really good card that just lets me make that play. And it's also the reason why I feel Judgment should come back, because not only is it a stun card, but it's also a defensive card. It lets you make sure your plays go through because it negates a spell or trap card. So that is really, really good. And there is a lot of cards that are not available right now that are either banned, and that is cards like Heavy Storm and Grenade. And I don't want to see Heavy Storm back. I don't, because literally Starlight Road, like, that would be the response, and it wouldn't do anything. That's why I'd rather see Grenade, because Grenade would actually do something. And I wouldn't want to see Heavy Storm come back unless Deneko went to 1. Like, Deneko to 1, Heavy Storm out 1, I'd be okay. Because I don't want to be in that situation where they plop down to Deneko, I don't have warning, and then they just activate that Heavy Storm, and then I have to go and cry because I lost on my back row. But again, I had the answer to something. Maybe I had the answer, maybe I had Starlight Road, or maybe I had Mirror Force, and then they just Heavy Storm my field, and that can just be really, really bad. And so, this format, it gets a lot of its skill from just fighting through back row. I mean, like Trishulas, they can banish back row. Do you banish that monster? Do you banish that back row? That is something Niklas players think about a lot. You have a lot of in-deck answers. Again, like Yosendju said, the secret move. There's the Calcab for the Burning Abyss. There's Fire Lake, of course, that can get rid of back row instead of the monsters. So that way your next play's move will go through. So there's just a lot of different ways this deck can just do that. Different decks can just fight through back row, and I feel it has created a very skillful format. Like, for example, me, if I have MST in my hand and I'm playing like Niklas or something, and my opponent has like 4 back row, let's say Vandy's, a Mirror Force, a Torrential, and some other card like a Mind Crush, I won't blind MST a single one. I'll wait for him to flip the Vanities so I can MST it. I mean, if he didn't have the Vanities and he had like a bottomless, I'd lose out to the bottomless or the Torrential he had set, because the MST wouldn't stop it. But I'd rather risk that, because again, if it was Niklas, I could always go again here if I had her. But I feel like I don't want to lose like the guy, the Niklas player in Prague. Game 1, there was like the Burning Abyss players had a Vandy set and a Foolish Burial set. He blind MST the Foolish Burial, which is a really, really awful thing. And so I don't, if I'm running Niklas, I don't blind MST. If I'm running Yosendju's, then I'll blind MST because Vandy's doesn't do anything. And so I feel really safe in being able to do a blind MST. And so again, there's a lot of different back rows. Like Max C is a card. Like, do you play with Max C or do you not play with Max C? Well, not play with it. Be it, do you play through it? Do you take Max C challenge? That is something that I feel a lot of decks have started doing. Because if you get off your play and you create such a big board, it doesn't matter what your opponent draws into. So a lot of players have been able to do that. Besides that, going to other banned cards that really shouldn't come back would be like Molotov. Those cards at 1, but this card is at 3. But if this card came back, it would just be stupid. Legitimately, it would be stupid. Because it would be, again, a really stun-based deck, stun-based format. Because there would be so many different decks that could play Molotov. You're talking Heroes, Yosendju's, not Burning Abyss, probably Spirit Beast. There's like so many. Most of the decks this format. Clifford. No, not Clifford's because of Scout. A lot of decks could play it. And again, like the reason why Artifact was so stupid is because the main answer, because of the ban list, because we don't have Grenade, and at the time we didn't have the Neko Seka, the main answer to like a Sanctum was a blind MST. And then they still got to pop a card, and if you had a face up card, they got to pop 2 cards. So that makes this like uber awful dud card that's like, don't hit this card. If you blind MST this card, you lose. Like, blind MST at Sanctum, you go -2. No, minus the MST, minus this card that Sanctum pops, minus the Molotov, you go -3. You will go -3. And so this card definitely should not come back. Like Molotov should not come back. We also see Loser Turn, which is coming out in Crossed Souls. This is a card that I'll be running at 2. It's another Floodgate, where I was running this in my Monarchs deck yesterday. Control no special summon monsters, negate the effects of all special summon monsters during the turn they are special summoned, and if they are summoned in attack position, change them to defense position. So it's supposed a little bit of a stun card. It's stun and stall. It negates the effects and it switches them to defense position. And so that is really, really nice. This is again another Floodgate, which tells me Vandy's probably won't be going down. They maybe might, because this is like kind of a weaker version of a Vandy's to an extent. Because like with Necros, their main weakness is their ritual monsters. If they summon out ritual monster and you can stop that monster, you can get over that monster. You maybe use like secret move on a Trishul or something, they lose the ritual spell and the ritual monster, so that makes them go very minus. And so this helps with that, because like, okay, your Trishul is negated, the Valkyrie is negated unless he tributes himself, which then means he draw cards, so they don't really go minus. So this card can be very useful against many different decks. Dante's, they summon him in attack position. Oh well, then he'd go to defense position anyway, so that's a thing. And there's just a wide variety of different types, like even Mind Crush. Like that was a card I feel was pioneered by Burning Abyss, and it's a card that I've actually fallen in love with. Like one of the things you do as a skillful player is if you see opponents surge, unless you're trying to stop their play that turn, you'll wait until their next turn, so that way they draw a card and then you can see all the cards in their hand and the card they just drew, and still hurt their next play. Like if they do an end phase search Skarm, search Tour Guide through Skarm, I will activate Mind Crush during their next turn, so that way I can get rid of the Tour Guide and see the rest of their hand. So Mind Crush is just a really huge advantage to whoever activates it, and so it's like there isn't any really good way to get rid of this except getting hitting it with a blind MST before they know what you're playing, so that way they can't call anything. And down here we see just a variety of different stuff, like Wild Tap and Trap Stun. Like the problems with these is that like I tried Wire Tap once and it just didn't feel right. I've tried both Wire Tap, I've tried Starlight Road, it just didn't feel right, because Starlight Road can help protect against like torrentials and mirror forces. And so Wire Tap, it just doesn't feel right, it's really slow. Same with Trap Stun. Like I feel there isn't really good way to go through back row just by itself. Like again, the main card is MST with the Sided Dust Tornado, and Deneko is very exclusive to a couple of decks. Yet many decks still can do it. They can bait out cards. I mean, Nikos have the Gunners, they have the Trishula, so they can protect their monsters from a torrential. So they have index. Many decks have index answers to back row, and so that is the thing that I'm not including here. But I feel there needs to be more generic protection cards that'll make it so that way your play can go through, so you can fight through back row. Like if Judgment came back, like that 4,000 life points, like I'd be running both Warning and Judgment, and you'd have to know, like many people talk about back when it was legal, knowing the right time to activate this card. I mean, everybody knows that the right time would be when a Deneko hits the field, like negate her, just slap her, put her in her place. But like if it's a Mirror Force, if it's a Torrential, how badly do you need those cards? Like, if it's a Vanities, is it worth negating? Like, if specifically a Vanities, because like you can get rid of Vanities other ways, do you think you can do that? And so, like, if Judgment came back, it would make the format even more skillful. That would definitely make this format more skillful, just trying to know when to activate this card. And so, again, this format has been very skillful, not because of these cards down here, but because of these cards and the in-deck answers to back row, because of the, and we have a couple of them here, because of the secret move, because of the Fire Lakes, because of Steeds, arguably. Well, now that just gets rid of monsters. That's a card I forgot to put in here. I cannot remember anything. There's just a variety of ways, like back row against Spirit Beast, they just all return themselves to the extra deck, so it doesn't even do too much to them. And so just decks have really good ways this format to get around back row, yet back row is still a problem. Because like sometimes Necros will lose to a flipped Vanities or a skill drain or a mistake. Just floodgates can be such a huge thing. And they can lose, and so that is why many people feel like they need to go down, because the main answer to floodgates is Mystical Space Typhoon. Like there's answers to torrentials, there's answers to Mirror Forces, but certain cards aren't an answer to. You don't have an answer to Mind Crush, you don't have an answer to Vanities or Skill Drain or Mistake except for the MST, the Twister, or the Dust Tornado. Unless you're one of the few people that run Echo, that run World Decree, or you're able to manage the wiretaps well and the trap stuns well. Like, there isn't a really good way, and so because of that, it has created this sense of skill. Learning how to bait out cards, learning how to play around floodgates. Like, many times I've run Vanities, and it normally leaves a field at one point. The Vanities won't stay for long. Maybe I'll get rid of it, maybe my opponent will get rid of it. It really just depends. I mean, I remember watching this one duel, I believe it was Yosenju versus Necros. The guy flipped Vanities, and Necros player was just completely out. He couldn't do anything, but then he was able to get rid of the Vanities or something. But he still wasn't able to do anything. It was probably like due to a torrential or something. But then the Yosenju player had pretty much nothing at that point. Activated a duality, and then first card Vanities, and he would tuck it, but then flip the other two just to see what they were, so that way he couldn't get in trouble. But then shuffled them back in because he took that Vanities and he ended up winning just because he had Vanities. So decks can have a way to get around the floodgates. It's just very hard, but I feel that it's hit it at just the right point where this has been a very skillful format where you have to know how to play against decks just right. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me what you guys think. Again, this isn't a skillful format because of any deck. No, Burning Abyss are easy to play. Like, all the decks are stupid. Necros, Clifford's. Like, the only deck I don't think is stupid this format is Shaddolls. Not because they're bad, or, well, not because they aren't doing as well anymore, but because they have an obvious weakness, which is don't use the extra deck. Like, that's the only deck that I feel is really balanced. And so, like, again, this format has been so good just because of how decks are able to fight through back row, yet how they can still lose to floodgates so easily because of the lack of back row destroying cards such as Tornado or Heavy Storm. Tornado doesn't negate. And so the only thing that can make this format better would be Solemn Judgment, because of how hefty it is. You'd have to know when to use it. So it can be a really important thing. So again, this has been a very fun format to play, very skillful format. There's a variety of different trap cards, like we're getting Ring of Destruction is coming back, and that card, I'm gonna run that in Yosenju's, and that card can just be stupid because of how like it deals damage to both players, yet it can just really result in just awful scenarios. So Ring of Destruction is going to be a really interesting card. So again, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If I miss anything, tell me what you guys think is the best about this format. What do you think is the worst? What is your favorite back row card? What is your favorite way to get around back row? Do you guys like Trap Sun? Do you like Wiretap? What is your favorite way to get around back row? What cards are you hoping to come back? I've seen some people talk about Trap Dust Shoot. I think that is an awful idea, especially if you're going first, because then it's like, well, my opponent has 5 cards, I have 5 cards, it's even. Oh, there goes the whole no drawing rule. But there's just a variety of cards a lot of people want to see back. I want to see Trinade and Judgment come back. I feel that would balance out the game. It would allow for offensive pushes while also having a card that can negate spells, traps, or be a stun card. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And again, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys later. Bye.